I am telling you here, if no one else has ever told you, let me be the first to tell you. Being a good man or a good woman ain't enough. Let me explain to you why.
It's simple for simple program on therapeutic fiber.
The manosphere, the producers of the red pill. This section of the internet has become one of the most impactful of them all in recent years. If you aren't aware, it's a group of men, well, mostly men, who promote ideas on how masculinity, relationships, and women work in the modern world. The target audience is men, young men, particularly those who struggle with their relationships with women. And even though these people share no real links, they all share the same collective ideas that the relationship dynamic between people today is messed up and getting worse. They say it's women's fault, basically. They encourage men to take the red pill and change how they view the world and how they view women. And as well as someone who fits into the target demo, I've seen an ungodly amount of content from this sector. And I just think that, for the most part, it's really dumb. Hold on. If you're a big believer in the community, just give me 1 sec. Don't read the hate comment yet. This isn't a video that's here to rebuke the manosphere. I actually think, for the most part, the whole red pill thing is just modern day self-help. Many of the creators are encouraging people to go to the gym, to do better for themselves, and to have a better career path. There's nothing wrong with any of that, and nothing wrong with telling young men to be confident in themselves. A lot of people think that self-help is inherently bad or shady, but I'm not one of those people. I think that anything that helps people become the better version of themselves is going to be good. The issue is that the red pill gets pretty unrealistic pretty quickly. I mean, the actual biggest issue is the deep disrespect and sweeping generalizations of women, but flagrant hate and generalizations are a rampant part throughout the internet. That's not a manosphere community thing. But what is a problem is how many creators there are selling content that promises to change someone's world for a few bucks. They all claim to know the answers, and after you watch their video or do their course, you have the tools to be rich beyond your wildest dreams and have the choice of thousands of women across the world. And that focus on women is what makes it manosphere different than regular self-help. Not only does it provide all those famous clips of disrespect we've all seen, but it's a huge reason why so many young men are enticed by these creators. And the crazy thing I noticed while watching them is that for as much as these dudes talk about women, about how women are the problem, and about how many women they have, whenever they get in a room with them, they aren't that smooth and they aren't that likable. Women are consistently walking out, yelling, or cursing out these men. And yes, sometimes the situations are intentionally contentious, but even in situations where there's no need to be disruptive, they still aren't smooth. My favorite example of this is Andrew Tate on Standout TV. After all the talk of his escapades, did he show his supporters how to be smooth when talking to a beautiful lady in an intimate setting? No, he was abrasive and rude, and then said I was trolling when the woman didn't like him. I like to chalk it off as a one-off, as Tate just making funny content, but it goes across the community. For as much as this group of men talks about being smooth, how much they sell being smooth, there is shockingly little evidence of them ever being smooth, except for one creator. His name is Kevin Samuels, and his content always seemed to stand out to me. There's certainly an argument to be made that there's no quantifiable reason why I find his content to be unique. He has just as many objectionable clips as the others and parodied many of the same belabored and questionable points as any other red pill creator. He even sold consultations with him for a ludicrous amount of money. When I saw his content, there was always something that seemed to be a hint of realism within. It wasn't all just clubs and Bugattis. I admit, I probably just fell for his grift, but his outlook, from his battle with cancer to his preaching on the importance of marriage in the black community, to the stories about the people in his world who never did find a partner, made it seem like he was genuine. And it didn't hurt that when he was in the room with the woman, he could express his opinion without the lady getting mad. He seemed to actually be charming, to smoothly put into practice the things he was selling. Oh, and I really liked that spinny thing that he had on his desk all the time. But the biggest reason was that he seemed to be pushing both men and women to want something realistic out of their relationships. Although his clips roasting women went much more viral than the ones with him roasting men, he gave them a hard time too. The message from most of the manosphere seems to be that the modern women are in the wrong, but Kevin always seemed to say that everyone can do something to make relationships better. He told men, hey, you can't ask for a partner if you can't support them, and no one wants to have a dusty partner. Get yourself right physically, emotionally, and financially before blaming women for not choosing you. And he told women, there's no man out there who's going to be perfect. Just find someone who loves you and build a life. This idea of settling has gotten out of hand, and you might be missing out on a great dude because you have an unrealistic standard that social media has helped to set. I think the vast majority of red pill content is unreasonable and frankly unhelpful. I threw out most of it the second I heard it spewed. But Kevin gave me perspective that made the hours and hours of red pill content feel worth it when he said, "It has never been good enough to just be a good person." I guess that point's rather obvious to most people, but as someone who has no relationship history, I can tell you it's really easy to fall into one of two paths. You can place the blame on women, like most of the people in the red pill community, saying that modern women are inherently flawed. Or you can do what I did for most of my life and say that you're unlucky and that you're just waiting on the right person to come along, like it's some Disney movie. But both of those are wrong. You have to actively work to make yourself a person who people want to be around. And that includes making yourself someone that you want to be around, someone that you're proud of. And that perspective, as basic as it is, was really monumental for me. It made all the hours of red pill content worth it. Thank you, Mr. Samuels. I needed it.